Push the button, go.
Yeah,
Hey, Thomas.
hey, we're we were trying to decide whether or not to switch over to like an AI that does it all for us, but we thought we do the opening so good anyway that we don't need an AI. Hey,
We
we're the
do.
first, the last, the Nerdom, and we're opening up the
Absolutely.
grab bag.
Yeah, this is our grab. I clapped too loud. Sorry. This is our grab. Yeah. See, I suck at this. Like I still, but that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, so we last week's
You
we
have
got a
to do
little.
golf claps. Golf claps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had a big mega episode. We kind of crammed a week and a half or so of stuff in there. Plus, it was also San Diego Comic-Con, and there were we probably missed stuff on the
Oh,
plane
absolutely.
before.
Yeah, there's I could have talked about action figures if you really wanted to, and then that would have probably added another 20 minutes to it. But yeah,
That
we
you
covered a
joke,
bunch of stuff.
you joke, but I am slowly being falling into the black hole of some kind of like a diorama type thing, like where you can have a scene and you can set them in epoxy or whatever. Like that's really cool. My brother-in-law, we got to get you guys together soon because he does action figures and he paints them and like blow my
Yeah.
mind for like
Yeah,
how detailed
yeah.
it is, and it's
Yeah.
just it's really cool.
Yeah, and I didn't give you a link for this. One of the things that they did talk about, NECA has big Teenage Mutant Ninja license, and they announced that they're I'm not really big into Ninja Turtle action figures just because most of them are based off of the cartoon and the movies, and I'm more of a comic book guy. So, but they announced a Last Ronin Ninja Turtle, and
Okay.
the Last Ronin, if for those unfamiliar, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, the original creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, got back together to write one last story, The Last Ronin, and it's pretty awesome. I heard that there were some mixed reviews on it. I don't see why, if you're a big original Mutant Ninja Turtle comic book fan. And I'm sure they're going to collect it in a big deluxe hardcover out soon, because all the I think there was 4 issues. There were oversized issues. It should come out, but yeah, later this year or next year they're going to come out with Last Ronin action figure from NECA, and that had me going, okay, I need this, so I need this in my life.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
Previews. Okay,
there's
I'm trying to find them here. Okay, that's cool. Maybe is that it?
Yep.
Maybe okay. That timeline lines up. Cool. All right, that's cool. That's cool. There's
Yeah.
a little soft spot in my heart for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm not a super huge fan, but yeah, I was old enough to buy the action figures being a kid, and oh man, it was so cool to get Leonardo, and it was so cool to get Michelangelo, and what your favorite, whatever, of course it's pizza. Who doesn't like pizza?
Well,
unless you're godless communist.
Here's my perspective of it. I was a dorky, stupid teenager, but I was getting the underground black and white comic books of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was a play on the Frank Miller Dark Knight. It was kind of making fun of that, but it was this dark and gritty comic book about turtles. How cool is that? And then they made a very kid-friendly cartoon about it, which makes total sense commercially. I mean, you're going to make millions do that. But me being that indie comic book guy, that was just totally not what I wanted to see with the turtles. Yeah. And then once that blew up and those creators were making millions of dollars off of it, the comic book stopped getting made, and it was a bad scene. And I did enjoy the movie because it was a little bit more grittier than the cartoon. But yeah, that's my whole
All right.
dark, and then so I didn't read anything of Mutant Ninja Turtles again until the last Ronin that came out just recently. So
Okay.
and that kind of gave me that fix, because the one of the guys actually penciled it. I don't think they inked it, but he actually penciled it, so it was still that old school kind of art style that it had originally, which I liked. So
Indeed. Well, with
but
that being said, with our surprise Ninja Turtle thing, we'll definitely have to get into that probably not anytime soon, but like probably I could see myself like when I just bought this house and like money is like it's not killing me, but it's not exactly cheap either. But when I get some
yeah.
I'm hoping to get some free up some bills and get some money in the savings. But good God, but especially
And
with the
then
winter.
you can start the man cave. I hear
I
what you're saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, my brother-in-law, he has his own little space, and he'll have the painting and all that stuff. So like I'm really looking forward to that world because it's really cool, and I don't it's really cool, and I don't want it to be ruined by some jackass on the internet. Like whatever I want to I want to learn more about. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But and that, with that being said, this rolls right into our recommendation this week. I'm rolling pretty light. Is what it is. So I'm leaning heavy on Thomas, like I did last week, as we covered our South San Diego Comic Con stuff. So right back to our old format. What's going on with this one? Why'd you pick this one for the show?
New writer and artist. They're doing there's two main Batman in continuity comics. There's Detective Comics and there's Batman. And
Okay.
this is and they just last week or the week before they came out with Batman by Chip Zdarsky.
Right.
And this week or this past week, this is maybe why DC should have stayed with Diamond. In my location, my comic book shop, they didn't get their DC Comics last Wednesday. They got it Saturday, and I ended up buying my DC stuff today. So
Is
making
that
a
just a distributor thing or whatever?
yeah, they said it was in Arkansas, but they didn't know where it was and blah blah blah. But this has
Nice.
happened 3 or 4 times, so it is what it is.
Yeah,
They
that's true.
eventually get them, but yeah. So I forget. I think
Oh, that's cool.
Tamaki, she was the writer for Detective Comics previously. She did a really great storyline, and then her two storylines were a little bit weaker. But this we're hitting in strong with Ram V writing the thing with Detective and Batman. They're a $5 comic book, but instead of 20 pages, it's 30. So you get your 20-page Batman storyline, and then there's
Mhm.
a 10-page backup story. And then Batman that Chip Zdarsky's doing, he's writing the backup story, and it involves Catwoman. In this one, I think Simon Spurrier is doing the backup story, and it deals with James Gordon, which
Okay.
is actually really good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed both the main story and the backup story. But yeah, Ram V, he's one of those writers that's on fire right now. He's the new hotness, so to speak, and
Okay.
he proves it with this title. This is
All right.
Batman being Batman.
Sure. I gotta add this to my list here. Cool. Awesome. Well, moving on to and of course the same Spurrier and Ramby and Rafael did
Yeah,
the
and
artwork.
that yeah, Raphael, he's a great artist.
Yeah, he is
He's
for
amazing.
sure. Moving on to Superman Space Age. Now you got my attention on this one, and you kind of teased it a little bit on our main show on Sunday, but or excuse me, Monday this past Monday.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I saw this in when you sent it over, and I was like, oh man, what is this?
Uh, this is my favorite. one of my top 5 favorite artists, maybe top 3, Michael Allred. He's a killer artist. He does that cover there. And then Mark Russell writes it. I'm not really familiar with him. But Michael Allred, you could kind of tell by the cover, his art sensibility is sort of kind of a 60s kind of kind of has there's kind of a Jack Kirby sensibility, but not as he doesn't do as strong art strokes, but his lines are a little bit finer. But yeah, there's definitely a 60s sensibility to it. And basically this isn't in with Superman's continuity. This is sort of like something you could pick up without worrying about having read anything else.
Okay.
It's sort of maybe like a alternate universe of Superman. It takes place in the 60s, and the start of it is with Clark Kent living on the farm in Kansas, and JFK's been shot.
Okay.
And,
all right.
And he's kind of dealing with what he should do as this super being. His father, his adoptive father, Kent, is saying, you don't need to go out into the outside world. You don't have to deal with this. But Clark Kent feels this pressure to do something. He has this power. He should do something with it. And it's sort of a kind of an alternate universe. You get introduced to Bruce Wayne. You get introduced to Lex Luthor. Very, very different, but still those core characters are the same core principles to them. So that you get a kind of a mixed bag of it. But so the story is very fresh, but you've got those same character elements that you're familiar with. And it tells, and this is a $10 comic book, but it's 80 pages.
Okay.
So it's actually a pretty good value for for the size of the thing.
Yeah, and speaking of the 60s, kind of give a shout out to our main channel that I mentioned there that you kind of teased in it. To kind of call it back to that one. We covered The Haunting in 1963. And of course, JFK
there you go.
was shot and killed in 1963.
Oh wow!
And so that we are squarely
that's synchronicity.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, we got that going on. But anyway, just wanted to shout out.
And another kind of tie-in with what's going on is that the one of the bad guys that he is introduced in this issue is Pariah, which is the main villain for Dark Crisis right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you get introduced to him. And just if you're in a comic book shop and you see that on the shelf, flip through it and see if you don't fall in love with Michael Allred's art. The covers, yeah. his art's really, really intricate, and he has a very much a style of his own. In his original character, Madman, I fell in love with that during the 90s and the 2000s. And but yeah, that's where I was originally introduced to Michael Allred. But he's done some work with Marvel, and I don't know how much he's done with DC. I almost want to say that this is his first foray into DC, but maybe not. But yeah, it's definitely he does that sort of traditional 60s sort of superhero kind of look. Okay, he's done some Batman. So but he is that kind of he falls right in line with the Batman of the TV series Batman. He's got that good look of that classic superhero look. And that works perfectly with Superman.
Yeah, it does for sure. Batman too. Like obviously that's the one down there in the bottom left on the screen right now. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. Good. I saw this one and I was like waiting to hear about it, and I'm glad I did, because this is one I got to pick up for sure. then kind of moving on, I guess just with the mid part or so of our show, like you want to jump into our YouTube recommendations, or you want to save those for the end?
Doesn't matter. We can go ahead and hit those up
Oh,
real quick.
cool.
Just
Yeah, I'll just
spice things up.
yeah, I'll hit mine up real quick,
Mhm.
and then I just wanted to shout out to this one. He's one of my favorite game tubers on YouTube, the Red Rad. He has a tremendously huge following, but I remember I've been following him for a long time, and a lot of times, I'm not a gamer anymore. I don't game anywhere near what I did before I had kids. Not even close. It's not even. So it's kind of a passing thing. So sometimes
It's like where's
um,
the time, right?
right. Well, exactly. Plus, I don't have time. You know, the
Mhm.
cost isn't really a factor anymore today, but it's more of a time issue. But for anyway, in any
Absolutely,
case,
absolutely.
what I don't like sometimes is like there'll be a game that'll kind of slip through the cracks, at least as far as I go. And then I'll be like, oh, I wonder, but I don't want to hear somebody pontificate on if it's bad or good. I don't really, unfortunately, I used to have uh, a list of video game websites that I would kind of sort of go to or follow.
Mhm.
Those are all extinct nowadays. I don't really trust any of them. They're all whatever. That's a whole different thing too. Plus, I don't have time to read about video games all the time. But
Mhm.
any case, sometimes though, and this is the beautiful thing about YouTube and nowadays is that I want to see a game or have a question about a game, but I don't. Sometimes I want commentary, sometimes I don't. But like what I love about the RadBrad is he'll just play the game and it'll just be the game. And sometimes that's enough. Sometimes you're like, you know what? You saved me $60, and I don't think I like that game. But are also other games where I've seen him, watched him play, and then gone on to buy the game because I know I'm going to enjoy that with all its foibles and no hype, none of that crap. Just like a good down the line gamer. He's tremendously big. Guy's humble. He just keeps it on the games. He just keeps it on everything related to that. But anyway, I love to watch his videos. And his latest one is like he'll do series, and what he'll do is he'll play to the audience. So if his followers aren't into a game and they don't get a certain criteria or whatever, he's like, oh, we'll just move on and drop it. And then yeah, it works very, very well for him. But one he kind of got into that I found myself I fell into was Stray. So I watched a couple videos, and of course he breaks them up. So there's been a couple of games, rarely like where I'll watch the whole series on through. And you know what? That's people do that nowadays. Like that's entertainment. Like that's what Twitch is. Like Twitch is all
Yeah.
about watching your favorite, I don't know, your favorite Gen Z idiot or whatever. I'm just kidding. Like
Yeah,
whatever.
I would probably go into a rage and destroy things if actually played Dark Souls. But I have enjoyed watching certain different streamers playing it just to watch them and watching good players of it that could actually get through the story and actually progress. Well, there's not really a story to Dark Souls, but yeah, to
Right.
kind of just progress and but yeah, it's kind of fun to watch. It's almost like back in the day whenever you had some friends over and you had a
Right.
guy that was good at video games. You would sit on the couch with him and watch him play
You
a
watch it,
game.
have fun,
Yeah,
carry on. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. That's so
yeah.
true. I remember doing that as a kiddo, and it plays nicely, but he does a great job. Sometimes he'll do commentary, sometimes he won't. He never really goes off the deep end. If you don't care about, if you just want to watch somebody play video games and you don't want to hear politics or culture wars or you don't want to hear none of that shit. You can get this with Red Rad, and dude is just so great. It's just entertaining. He has a good way anyway. I keep going on, but yeah, for sure. Anyway, that leaves us with what's your shout out, your YouTube recommendation this week?
I discovered two new guys that I was kind of actually three guys that I'm kind of interested in, and
Okay.
so I was kind of tossed up between which guy I would was going to pick, but this guy was the last one I watched, and I haven't watched a whole lot of his stuff, but I enjoyed those two recent ones. Are you familiar with the Max Headroom TV hack that happened in Chicago?
Yeah, like where it was like public access hour, some ungodly hour of the day, and then somebody came in and legend has it they hacked it, and then played a little bit of Max Headroom, but the legend is they never caught him. They never got a hold of him, and I think I want to say, did it happen again or something? Like it they're like really become truly legendary.
Yeah, they hacked WGN in the Chicago cable channel, and then they cut him off pretty quickly, and then they did it again for a PBS one where it was after hours. There was no one in the actual studio to to fix the hack, and they were able to actually play the whole thing. But yeah, that's their most recent video is a kind of a little documentary on that. This will disturb you, that hidden in plain sight, that first video on there. And then the other one I watched was the next one, the weirdest saga of early internet. Do you remember a website called Art is Evil?
Never came across
it. Or Bert is Evil. Bert is Evil. Basically there was a website that I think the main website's called Fractal Cow, and one of the offshoot websites off of it, and this is in the late 90s on into the 2000s. Yeah, the 2000s. And basically from Sesame Street you have your Bert and Ernie. Bert was always kind of evil. There was something a little odd about him. So people started on the website, they would put him in with pictures of with like Hitler and different things. And there was a famous picture of and this was before 9/11, back when Saddam Hussein was just Saddam. He hadn't done the 9/11 thing. They did a picture with Bert, with Bert hanging out with him, and then 9/11 hit and things went crazy. So that documentary is kind of interesting to watch. It's interesting to see how internet meme culture, how that kind of, you realized how much of an impact that had with real life. That was the first time that it actually kind of caused issues. And the guy, this nostalgia nerd, he does a great job of covering the history, going deep into the history of different things. And I'm kind of curious to dive deeper into a lot of his other videos. They all kind of interesting.
Boy, there's just so many things on here that are hitting the nostalgia for sure. And this guy is aptly named Nostalgia Nerd. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that very clearly. That's cool.
But yeah, watch those two late videos, and if you dig them, watch more of it. But yeah, there's it's the thing. Just that YouTube just recommended it to me. So say what you will about YouTube. Sometimes they know what to recommend to you, and I wish they would recommend our channel a little bit more, but hey, whatever.
That's okay. We gotta earn our we gotta earn our stripes. We gotta be doing this for about a decade, and then probably about 3 years before everything happens, it will blow up if we make the algorithm gods happy. It's like, so that's a good shout out. So if you want to make the algorithm gods happy, we must sacrifice to them. So by sacrifice I mean like, comment, or subscribe. Even dislike, we're okay with that. But more importantly, tell us what we suck at, or tell us what you want to see more of or less of or whatever, and then we will absolutely entertain it for sure.
Yeah, you know what? You made me think of something that I'm gonna mention. There's this noir writer that wrote um, kind of a dark crime stories. His name
Okay.
is Jim Thompson, and he didn't really make he wrote like a ton of novels, and he didn't really make much money when he was alive, but
Mhm.
I forget when he died, but he told his wife to hang on to the rights to his stuff. He goes, it's going to click, it's going to eventually click, and he was
Smart
right.
man.
The like during the 90s, there was like a revival of they made a bunch of movies on his stuff, like the Grifters, and trying to think of some other his books that were movies, The Killer Inside Me. But yeah, there was a big revival, and she made quite a bit of money off of the film rights to
Good.
stuff. But yeah, there's something to be said for forward thinking.
For sure. For sure. Indeed. Indeed. Cool. All right. Well, what did you want to go into our which we may or may not have a soapbox. We'll see.
Hey, virtually reach into the grab bag and grab something.
I'm gonna virtually. You know what? I'm gonna go with with Batman, Matt Reeves. And I saw this and I was kind of made me sad a little bit.
You
This is
know,
not good. I don't know. I don't know.
I started just like you. I thought, well, okay, is this really what we're doing here? But then I thought about it a little bit more, and you could look at it two different ways.
Yeah.
One way is oh my God, they're just looking for something for their streaming service. They just want to throw something up on the screen. So there's a series for you to watch on this
Right.
on the HBO app. But another thing is Matt Reeves seems to be heavily involved in it,
Yeah.
and Colin Farrell's a great actor, and it actually
Really
could
great.
turn out to be a pretty decent series. So it's one of those that I'm like, okay, prove to me that it's worth existing.
Yeah. It's funny because well, as long as he's involved, that's fine because he did a great job on the Batman. And the
Mhm.
thing about the Batman is that I think the key to really getting the
And
maximum,
we're not
like,
going to show any footage of the Batman.
yeah, God forbid we should ever show anything promotional for Warner Brothers and HBO Max because you guys are bastards when it comes to copyright strikes and whatever, of course. But anyway, I'll get off my rant. Or that's not quite a soapbox. That's
Yeah,
legitimate dig at them.
yeah.
Or they are responsible for a community strike, which I believe you had investigated, and it's always going to be up there, despite the fact that it's all
Mhm,
horseshit. But anyway,
mhm.
pulling it back to center, if you watch the Batman, I really think the key to watching that, don't sit it down and watch it all at once. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's 3 hours. You're old like me. You need a break. I'm just
Mhm,
kidding. But like though I watched it over 3 nights with my kiddos, and when we kind of made it episodic, it made it a
mhm,
lot more bite-sized and enjoyable. I do not
mhm.
think that I would have had as a positive opinion had I not done that. And it just
Yeah.
happened to do that because we're all busy. We got lives, et cetera, et cetera. Like we
Mhm.
want to do these things. But
Yeah, and
so, okay, all
I'm the
right. Well,
same
I'll
way.
be
Yeah. Mhm,
cautiously optimistic. Yeah, I believe you watched it in like a two
mhm.
nights or something like that.
Two
But
nights. Yeah, yeah. That's how
yeah,
I
but
did
I
it.
think
Yeah.
it makes a lot. However you break it down, you don't want to
Mhm,
get too far. You don't want to watch the damn thing over 6 nights. That's ridiculous.
mhm.
But if you do,
Yeah,
I
you
think
don't want to. If you turn it into TikToks, then
right.
you're probably not getting the full effect of it.
Well, everybody wants to be the world that wants to be TikTok, and it's just can we use our original? It doesn't matter anyway. All right, so he's heavily involved. I have hope, I guess. We'll see, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I will say, HBO Max absolutely has some goodwill, some brownie points as far as I'm concerned. They make consistently make or have good quality content at the drop of a hat. It is not
Yeah,
like
and
I,
I didn't send you a link, but that Zaslav, the CEO that's from Discovery, that's the head of Warner Brothers right now, they a lot of people are bad mouthing him because he's kind of cleared house and he's gotten rid of a bunch of people and has put in a lot of people into it. And he said he's concerned um with diversity, but that's not his main focus, and they're decrying him because most of the new executives are white male people. And but he said he wants the best people for the job. And
Thank you. Thank you.
and 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 if that's the best people, and if we get the best entertainment from
Awesome.
that, I'm happy. Now if he's
Thank
just trying to fill it with his cronies that are gonna drain the company, whatever. But yeah,
Well,
I'm not gonna say anything until I see the products, you know.
absolutely. Yeah. And I'd say like, no, Batman overall had very good positive reviews overall. I don't think,
Yeah,
I don't know of
yeah.
any, I don't know of anybody that was just like, oh, I heard different things about it. I think I heard
Mhm.
from one person that didn't really like it, but other things I've heard are it's too long, which is a
Mhm.
fair criticism.
Yeah,
But anyway, kind of jumping on for I could go on about DC, Batman, and
yeah.
whatnot.
Absolutely.
But anyway, moving on. Well, we might as well slide across the plate and talk about Wonder Woman. And this happened on Sunday, right? Or was
Mhm.
it Monday?
Yeah, yeah.
Nichelle Nichols, who famously played her on Star Trek, the
Mhm.
original series, passed away.
Yeah.
This is a tremendous loss for the Nerdom. Absolutely, it
Mhm.
sucks.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
lot of history, a lot of history.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And I've never seen an interview that of hers where I didn't think, well, that's a great lady, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, always positive. Came from a completely different era. Um, that we are
Yeah,
all
and
very fortunate to have for sure.
and one of the interviews that I remember from her is that where she was talking about how she was talking to Martin Luther King, and she was talking to him, and she's like, you know, just I'm just playing this silly character on this stupid science fiction show,
Mhm,
and you know what difference am I making? He says, you're making a difference. You're on the TV. You're on there week after week,
mhm,
showing a strong black woman. And
mhm.
that just, you know, it
Oh yeah.
just kind of shows you what how important she was. And if you really didn't see that, you know, she didn't
Mhm.
see how important that she truly was.
Right. Well, and speaking of the
Mhm.
'60s, where we kind of have some creep over and from our main show, from The Haunting in 1963, not only JFK, but 1968. 1968 was the first was the
Mhm.
first interracial kiss with William Shatner, and
Mhm.
I think there's some drama about that. I don't know if this goes into it or not, but I know that there was some fighting behind the scenes too, like leave it be. And
Yeah,
thankfully
yeah,
they did.
there was well, the reason why they kept it in was there was a scene where they kissed, and then there was a scene where they didn't kiss. And in that scene where they didn't kiss, William Shatner crossed his eyes so that
Hmm.
it wouldn't be usable. So they
Good.
had to use the scene where they kissed.
Yep. Good job, William. Good job. They knew what they were doing beforehand. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wonderful legacy. Somebody we're gonna miss, and I am
Yeah.
glad though. We did just make it into where the Kurtzman and the powers that be fixed themselves with Star
Yeah.
Trek, and they introduced a
Right.
Strange New World. So shout out to that.
Hmm.
That absolutely
Yeah, and
deserves to
I
wear the
hope.
mantle and the
Mhm.
crown of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Strange New
Yeah, and
World did it.
I hope she got to see the newer Uhura, and the pass on the baton or whatever,
Me too.
and
Me too.
onto the new Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, and of course, it did in Chris Pine's enterprise. There was their owner her there as well, I believe.
Hmm.
I could be, yeah, I believe so. Anyway,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, going on. Moving on. Okay, this is interesting. This has my attention because I've kind of non-controversial way to say this, but it is pretty much anything new Star Trek. I'm not interested in. Not because I hate
You
it
mean
or
Star
love it or
Wars?
whatever.
You mean Star
Yes,
Wars, right?
thank you. Yeah, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna get crucified by the nerds. Anyway, you're right. I did say Star Trek. I meant Star Wars. Just with everything else, it's not love, it's not hate. I only have so much time to dedicate to entertainment and what I watch. I don't have time to watch every single Disney Marvel. That's a valid criticism. Nor do I
Hmm.
have time to watch every single Disney Star Wars. And if you're a big fan, more power to you. But this one has me very curious because of all the new Star Wars films, a lot of folks like Rogue One. Thought it was okay. I didn't hate it or anything, but
Hmm.
honestly thought Solo was better, in my opinion. But I'm very
Hmm.
rare on that opinion because
Hmm.
too many people like Solo. So they are getting ready to do a sequel to Solo.
Well, sort of. Well,
Maybe.
Lawrence Kasdan, he co-wrote Empire Strikes Back with George Lucas
Okay. Right.
originally,
Right.
and he also worked with J.J. Abrams on Force Awakens, and then he wrote Solo with his son John Kasdan, and he wants to do another Solo movie with the son and Ron Howard, and he wants to make it a movie. And for that article, basically it's just kind of an interview with Lawrence Kasdan, saying he's not interested in doing a Disney Plus Solo TV series. He would
Good for
rather
him.
do it as a movie. And I think, as far as Disney's concerned, I don't think they want to do. They probably won't do a solo Disney movie until they get another hit under their belt as far as a Disney movie, and I don't know what that would be. Um,
I
now there's now
I don't
with
know.
the solo Star Wars story, there's that one character that's played by Emily Clark. I think her name was Kira, whatever. She kind
Mhm.
of turned into like a villain towards the end of the movie. Spoiler alert. Uh, but um, but she's very very much a character in the Star Wars comic book series currently,
Hmm.
with the Crimson Dawn. And from this article, it mentions that they're thinking about doing a series, a Disney Plus series with her, which could be interesting to kind of further that storyline that would kind of was hinted at the end of Solo. But yeah, I was like you. I did enjoy the Solo movie, so I would
Good.
enjoy another Solo movie, but I don't know
Yep.
how successful or if they would want to do that, because whether or not it would be successful. Um,
Yeah, I would agree though. I would rather they not make anything related to this if they were going to do a stupid TV show. And I say that because I'm not interested in having it. I'm just not interested. I skip over a lot of the smaller screen stuff that Disney puts out, Disney Star Wars. Because I've been, it is what it is. And if you like that, wonderful, more power to you. But
mhm.
I don't want to see this. I don't want to see 6 episodes of this. I just want to see a movie because I think
And there's
the
they
gravitas of
yeah.
Solo and the story, the acting, the actors that they picked for Solo were perfect. And that's rare high praise from me on anything Disney
Mhm.
movie related. Because after the Force Awakens, and then the other two, I can never remember the names because I don't care to remember the names. Put that way. I kind of fell off a cliff after the second one. I did not go see the Rise of Skywalker.
Mhm.
Was that the second one or the third one?
Third one.
But, okay, yeah, the third one. I
Mhm.
didn't. I I I have tried probably
Mhm.
about 5 to 10 times. I have tried to sit through and watch that movie, and I just get bored. I get on my phone. I just turn it off. But anyway, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me,
Yeah.
personally. But
Yeah.
you know.
And to go off on a little bit of a tangent, I was watching which isn't really, because I was watching on Hulu, which is a Disney majority owned company. I was watching the mini series on the Sex Pistols, and the guy that was playing Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols, he's sort of like the main character because it's based on his biography of the Sex Pistols.
Mhm.
That actor really kind of reminded me of Harrison Ford in that role, and just how he kind of looked. I was almost like, I would like to see him. The actor they had in Solo, I had no problem with, but just watching that, I was like, that guy wouldn't be too bad as Solo either. But yeah, and then there's the new series Andor that's coming out, which is one of the characters from Rogue Squadron, or Rogue One. I haven't seen Andor, the trailer yet. I've heard a lot of good buzz about it, but it's a character that has spoiler alert if you haven't seen Rogue One, he's dead. I don't know. I don't know if I care to see a series about a dead character.
In my opinion, should be taken with a grain of salt because I'm not into these things. As a matter of fact, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like I completely skipped over everything, and and I'm shameless here, but I fast forwarded through the vast majority of it just to see the fight that everybody wanted to see. I saw the fight, and I saw the spoiler alert. I saw the very ass end of the thing of like where it pays homage and fans and all this and that, and then it was like, oh, it was okay, but I'm not. I just don't have time to sit through all that. But in any case, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and I kind of struggled with putting this on here. Is like, how much Disney do we really want to focus on our channel? But yeah,
I think that they're at a good point now, and you know, you can't have everything be a hit. You know, it's not going to happen. Like I think we're kind of getting into fatigue, or even the normies are like, I don't know, like you kind of like my brother and I are nerds, and we have had kind of this back and forth about Star Wars over the years because we're both big fans, and we saw the first one and we saw the second one. We didn't see the third one. We just did, and then we kind of kept up with season 1 of Mandalorian, season 2, and then by that point, my brother-in-law had been like, you know what, I feel like I'm being taken for a ride. And it's just not for me anymore, and that's okay, you know. And then I was a little bit later to the party to that, but it's what it is, you know. But if you get enjoyment, that's all that matters. So it's just not a lot of love from me personally.
And
just
to shout out the comic book. If you want to read a good Darth Vader comic book, the current run of Darth Vader is really good. He's a total badass.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard good things about the comic book series and Andor. The problem that I have with Andor is it's just like unless you're a true blue fan and you're really in the weeds, like what's the draw? Like what the hell is Andor? You know, and then it's like, oh well, it's explained with Rogue One and da 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 da, and like you just mentioned, character dies.
Yeah,
just being fair. Why do I give a shit? What's the draw? Like what else?
Yeah,
what's the story to what else is there to continue on?
Right, and best case scenario, it's a great series, great character, great series. He's dead at the end of it.
I mean,
so you got a great six episode series, but you know, if you're wanting your audience to invest into a character, I don't see it. And it seems like they're really grasping at straws trying to reinvigorate people into like their new characters. They want everybody to be into, and then you have these aging actors that probably wouldn't mind working, that us fans would love to see. Like I don't know, I don't know what Billy D. Williams' capacity is at this point, but I would love to just see him sitting around, have a series where he's like an older statesman that people come to. That would be great. Or maybe have it as a sequence it like present day and past with Donald Glover, which is an actor, have him as Lando. Have older Billy D. Williams going reminiscing about the past as Lando, and then cut to Donald Glover. That's who wouldn't want to watch that?
Right. Well, and it could be even irreverent. It could be a little bit more fast and loose and more lighthearted than maybe fans would accept for something more serious and heavy. But I just don't. There's just too many. I don't know.
It seems like they're wanting to. It seems like they're wanting to throw all in on their new characters, like that. The Reva character from Obi-Wan, the least interesting character in the whole series. They want to make a new make a series about her and get you to buy her lightsaber that failed miserably.
And to kind of jump on my soapbox for a second, okay. Let's just say that Obi-Wan Kenobi was amazing. Let's just say that it was amazing. Let's just say they were wonderfully successful beyond their wildest measure, and they keep the money printing machine going. And let's just say that Reva has a spin-off arc, maybe, whatever. Okay. Mm-hmm. The thing is where you burn the fandom over and over and over again is, okay, The Force Awakens. You had John Boyega, and you had that wonderful hint that maybe you had a compelling storyline where you had a former Star Wars trooper, soldier, or whatever, but they're Force sensitive, and this is very unusual because we're just used to looking at stormtroopers like they're just dumb, can't shoot, can't aim, whatever. That was teased so hard. They led you to think a certain kind of way for that. Never mind Rey, never mind this or that, and then you had Adam Driver as Rilo, whatever the hell his name was, Kylo Ren, excuse me. You had Rey, but you had that huge tease that maybe this John Boyega character, which was awesome and was a hit with the audience too.
The audience loved him
to be the next something, and then what did they do with it? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing. So I'm sorry, Disney. You have played this game before with the promising of a character or like something, or you hint at it or whatever. But now you're maybe there were plans for this because they've tried to do this with the character to you could see them spinning it off. I'm not interested because you played that game before and you burned me, and I had. That's how I personally feel. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but shout out to the Bad Batch. I'm looking forward to the new season of it.
I've heard that. It is good. It is legit good to enjoy. And if that's your bag, go for it. So recommendation from us out there. Anyway. Rolling into another. We might as well get it out of the way. And
There's a whole lot to talk with this, but Kevin Feige says, which is the Marvel guru at Disney, that the Fantastic Four movie will not have an origin story, which makes sense. I mean, the story, the origin of from the comic book is basically them shooting off into a spaceship into space,
cosmic rays, excuse me.
And getting hit by the cosmic rays, and I was kind of thinking about it the other day. I was just kind of thinking about it, and I was thinking, would that really work in today's setting? Which I was thinking, with Elon Musk and SpaceX and all of that, maybe work in like the storyline with that, with SpaceX, kind of a privately owned space company, going space, go in the and getting the, but basically origin stories are the worst stories for comic book movies, and to avoid it like they did with the Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movies, that's probably the best way to go. And yeah,
Very
I'm
interesting.
I'm looking forward to what they'll do with Fantastic Four. There were never really like my favorite group. I always
Oh,
loved the Thing.
sure.
The Thing was great. The Human Torch was kind of cool looking. But yeah, it's like the powers of Mr. Fantastic was always kind of goofy.
Right.
Which they did a good job with it in Doctor Strange, the new Doctor Strange movie. So
They did. They did.
um
They gave a
and
glimpse. They gave
uh
a good legit glimpse for sure.
yeah, and in the comic book, they've really kind of dug into the powers of invisible woman. I guess I was going to call her Invisible Girl, but I think
Mhm.
it's for apropos to say Invisible Woman now.
Oh, you're canceled.
She's
I'm just kidding.
yeah, I know. Yeah, goodbye. I'm gone. It's the Mike show. But yeah, if you but she's really the most powerful character in that group, with the way that you could tweak her powers. And so yeah, I there's a lot of cool ways you can go with this, and there's a lot of cool stories from Marvel that
They're
the
missing out on.
yeah, that the writers and artists will be vastly underpaid by Marvel when they adapt it into the movies. But
The VFX artists will be too. So
yeah, that's true. So
I might as well. That's not a punch below the belt because it's legit. That's a fair criticism. But
mhm.
I can't help but think about Fantastic Four, and I agree with you. You made the opinion that I just didn't understand why they were doing all these like insular, like tier F characters. They don't make any goddamn sense whatsoever.
No, absolutely
But
not.
yet they are sitting on they literally have a gold mine ready to go. Because I
Yeah.
remember the first time I did not know about the Fantastic Four for nothing when I was a kid.
Hmm.
The only time that I knew about them was when there was like a crossover and Wolverine fought the Thing, and it's like, what is this?
Hmm.
And then that was my draw. And then, of course, like with comic books, you have your ultimate favorite, and that's all you read, and then you kind of branch out a little bit, and you're like, oh, I like this, or I don't like this, or whatever. But I agree with you. Like they're leaving a lot on the
Yeah, and
on the
yeah,
table
yeah,
for sure.
and what really makes a superhero is their villains. And
Right.
Fantastic
Oh
Four
my
has
God,
the best villains.
Doctor
You got
Doom.
Doctor
Doc-
Doom,
yeah.
you got Galactus, you have Silver
Ultimate
Surfer,
nullifier.
you had Black Panther, which came
Right.
from Fantastic Four. You had Namor. I mean, there's just the hits keep on. Annihilators. Oh
Mhm.
man, and the
Agree.
negative verse.
Yep. Yep. Which and yeah, there's a lot of what could have, should have, would have, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. The
uh
Inhumans. The way that they can reintroduce the Inhumans is through the Fantastic Four and make them cool. But
right. And they
um,
and they could totally do a certain kind of mutant story, which is just all about difficult, tumultuous times. That is the story of the X-Men.
mhm.
We live in that we live in that era now for certain topics, and I don't see why that wouldn't be any
Yeah.
different.
Well,
But whatever. What do I know? What do I know?
well, and here's my thoughts. Doctor Strange being kind of goofy in the Superman or Spider-Man movie. He's goofed up the multiverse in the Spider-Man movie and in
Right.
his own movie. Have Reed Richards come in and try to fix the multiverse from wherever he's in, and
Hmm.
that pulls in the Fantastic Four into this current uh current universe of
Oh,
of Marvel, and then also pull in the mutants.
right. Yep. You have a perfect on ramp there for the multiverse is all whatever. We don't know what the hell's going on, and then you could have this. You could introduce a whole thing, and then there will get whatever. I don't know. What do we know though? What do we know?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, they're not paying us for it, so we shouldn't be giving them ideas. But
yeah. One of the things I wanted to cover real quick, and then we'll hit up the last news segment here thing. But
yeah, yeah.
this is newsworthy because it's out in theaters currently.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen it, or a trailer for it, it's out in theaters now, and I'm gonna go see this in the coming day, like I think tomorrow. And I am really excited to cover this and come back with what I saw and how I thought about it. But this is one of the first Jordan. I have never seen a Jordan Peele horror movie before, but boy, if this has my name written all over it, it does, because it's got a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of horror, whatever's going on there. Uncanny is probably a good way to put it, but I am going to see this soon. I just want to give a shout out because it's out there, and it's so rare that you have sci-fi and horror kind of crossover. And from what my understanding from you and a few other folks that I've talked to is Jordan Peele is a very good director and movie producer, writer, all the above. Anyway, I just wanted to shout that out. Next week I'll be coming on with my my hot take or cold take, rather, reheated.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'll head back into the theater just yet, but one of the things I want to I want to comment on is I've heard this thing, which I don't know if it's 100% true, but it kind of sounds true, is that when Jordan Peele's naming his movies, his movies he directs, he names them in the things that he would think that the people would shout out during the movie. So like his first movie is Get Out, and then this one's like Nope.
That's awesome.
Which
awesome.
that makes sense, and that's kind of cool. If that's true, that's very cool.
Yeah, and Stephen Yu, I just want to shout out that is we periodically will cover some of his stuff, but he's a very good actor. He also does the voice work of in Invincible, and of course famously for being Glenn on The Walking Dead until they killed him, and then once they killed him, then I was out. But anyway,
yeah, go ahead and click on him. There's a horror movie that I like from him. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's Mayhem. Have you seen that?
Okay, I have not.
Okay, that one's a little bit crazy. I think it's you probably need to there, that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of like it was there was a kind of a zombie movie or something, like where essentially like people just went crazy. That was the premise.
Yeah, it was sort of a zombie movie, but it was a virus, and that one it's not the best movie in the world, but it's fun.
Just saw it like maybe a couple years ago. I got it's the I can't think of the name of it, but essentially it was it was called The Crazies. That's what it was. It was a remake, I think, of The Crazies. Like it was maybe.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah,
I liked it. It was.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. I had some famous. Anyway, didn't matter. But I also saw great one similar to that, but it was you didn't quite know if the dude was crazy or if it was whatever. Not even gonna bring it up, but all right. Well, anyway, kind of backing out and going into Greg Caputo.
He
talked about this a little bit last week.
Yeah, last week there's going to be a Batman Spawn crossover that Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane is spearheading, and Greg Capullo is going to be the artist, and he shared, I don't know, I think he probably shared on Twitter or somewhere some of his sketches that he's been doing for it, and I thought I would share that with us. There's nothing wrong with seeing some Greg Capullo art.
Never.
He's a great artist.
On top of it being Spawn and so legendary and Batman so legendary for sure. Yeah, this has
Yeah,
got me.
yeah,
I'm excited.
yeah. He did an incredible run on Spawn, and he and Todd McFarlane says that he's the best Spawn artist, and that's saying something since Todd McFarlane was one of the major artists of Spawn. So
Yeah, this is exactly the meme that I would say. Just here, take my money.
yeah,
with Fry. And
yeah.
awesome, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
I was watching just to add a little bit. I was watching one of the creators I like that reviews comic books, and he was making the case that he doesn't go into the comic book shops anymore, and he was kind of sad at the state of comic books and how he was that people don't really talk about comic books anymore. And I think you could get locked into that mindset that there's not anything good out there. But you really just have to get out there and go. I mean, if you're not going to the comic book shop, you're not going to find it. You're not going to see it. And
right.
even if and if you go into the comic book shop and you look at the current comic books, they have them all set up on the shelf. If you kind of look through it and it's not for you, they have a big boxes of old comic books that you can kind of dig through and find some treasure there. That I know the prices on old comic books are kind of getting maybe inexorbitantly jacked up, but yeah, there's always something there that you can find. There's graphic novels of that collects old comic books that you're gonna enjoy. But yeah, I was just kind of just sad that this person was feeling so this despondent over comic books that people are just not talking about them. And there are people talking about them. And you just got to go out to the comic book shops or talk to your friends, or just be out there and be with other people that actually enjoy comic books.
Oh yeah, for sure. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I think that brings us up to the caboose. To the bookender show.
We're digging at the bottom of the grab bag, and there's nothing else, huh? There's a little bit of lint. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Thomas, thank you again.
I will
go ahead.
mention the new episode of actually Netflix is going to show Sandman at the end of the week. I think it's August 5th.
Okay.
So I'll definitely watch the first episode or two of that. So for next week I'll give you my take on it.
Awesome. Cool. Very cool. All right. Well, that brings us up to the end. This is the first last of Nerdom. Please, if you don't like what you see, let us know. You like what you see, let us know. You please like and subscribe and share us. We're getting buried by the algorithm. We are very new and young, so we have to get our
and fresh.
We have to earn our stripes, so to speak, earn our rank, and that's okay. But we can't do it without you. So please like, comment, subscribe, share, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Yeah, and our major podcast is on ghost hunting and the haunting. So check that out. If you have your own ghost, my sister. So, but if you have your own ghost story, if you don't mind giving us a little comment and telling us about it, that'd be great.
Absolutely, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.